Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Your Mark on the World show. I'm your host, Devin Thorpe, and this episode is being produced for Forbes, where I am a contributor covering social entrepreneurship and impact investing. Our guest today is Dave Richards, the managing partner of the Unitus Seed Fund. Dave, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Devin. Glad to be here.
Well, we are glad to have you. Tell us a little bit about the Unitus Seed Fund to get us warmed up.
Sure. So Unitus Seed Fund, we started this about 3 years ago, and Unitus Seed Fund is part of the larger Unitus Group, which has been investing in emerging markets, investing in high-quality entrepreneurs serving low-income populations for more than a decade now. And we particularly got the Seed Fund going about 3 years ago when we saw a big market opportunity starting in India.
And what is that opportunity? What drives that?
So what we saw in India from our decade of investing there is that we started off focusing really on microfinance, and we were one of the early investors in the next generation of entrepreneurs trying to build up inclusive financial services in India and other places. And as part of that, over this last decade, we were continuing to be reached out to by entrepreneurs who were coming to us and saying, hey, I've got this interesting idea for healthcare for the masses in India. I've got an interesting idea for improving education in different ways, in really scalable and profitable ways. And at that point, we didn't really have a way to fund them or invest in them because we were very focused on microfinance. Also, they were coming to us even earlier stage. So they were coming at a stage where they weren't really ready for a larger investment. They hadn't proved enough out yet. So we started to identify that there was really this seed funding gap that existed in a market like India. We actually believe it exists other places. But we started to see it in India, and we then started to experiment in 2012 with finding some of these entrepreneurs in healthcare and education and agriculture and other areas and doing some experimental investing in there, and we started to really realize, yes, this is a huge gap in the market.
You have launched a new partnership with Pfizer and a couple of other folks. Tell us about that new partnership.
Yeah, so just earlier this week, we are excited to announce a new partnership around health technology innovation in India, backing early-stage entrepreneurs who have really interesting breakthrough, disruptive health technology solutions that they're trying to bring to market. And with that, we've announced that we've partnered with Pfizer, with PATH, which is one of the largest global health organizations, and then two significant Indian health services companies, Narayana Health and Manipal hospitals. And basically, the idea is this, that we, over the last 2 years, have seen, we've talked to more than 150 entrepreneurs that are doing things in the healthcare space. We've made 4 investments to date, but many of them we've had to turn away because they just hadn't made enough progress yet, even for a seed investment. And so we realized that a lot of them were kind of stuck in this gap where they weren't ready for even an investment from us yet they had potential. So they had to go scouring around to get the support they needed to make their pilot move faster, to find some grant money or whatever it is that they needed to sort of move ahead. And so it was a big challenge for them. And so what we've done is we've put together a new program which combines a non-dilutive capital for these early-stage health tech entrepreneurs, to combine that with expert support from our partners on the healthcare front, and to help them really get through those early stages, and then the potential for an investment from Unitus Seed Fund. As a follow-up to them making some more progress based on the support that they're going to get. So really, what we're trying to do here is we're trying to innovate by bringing together a number of different partners and support to early-stage entrepreneurs, so that we can more of these entrepreneurs that have these innovations can actually bring them to market.
I noticed one of the elements of the program was that you're investing non-dilutive capital. What kind of investment structure are you using?
Right. So we have a small pool of capital. You can earn. We can provide up to something like about $85,000 US. And basically, it's going to come in the form of a grant or some form of services agreement where there's not a share purchase as part of it, and there's no repayment required of it. Now, it does have conditions in the sense that it's really helping them focus on making particular progress towards getting the investment that they want to have from Unitus Seed Fund. So the concept was to combine these different financing vehicles such that an entrepreneur could basically have, let's say, 2+ years of funding from Unitus and Unitus partners in a single package. So they could really focus not on fundraising, but focus on moving their business ahead.
$85,000 wouldn't get you very far in Silicon Valley, but when you're in Silicon Valley, maybe you don't have as far to go. How would you compare opportunities in Silicon Valley to opportunities in India?
Sure. So one of the ways to look at it is the economies are quite different in India versus the United States. One rule of thumb that's sometimes helpful is to think that $1 in the United States goes and has the equivalent impact of sort of an investment of about $2 to $3 in India. So when someone's taking $85,000, you can multiply that by 2 to 3 would be the equivalent amount of because of the cost of doing things in India. So it's a reasonable amount. It's not a huge amount, but generally the companies that we're looking at have made some initial progress. It isn't like they're starting just from a PowerPoint slide. They've got a partial pilot, or they've got some promising results, and really over a 6 to 12-month period, they need to move that forward. And basically, this up to $85,000 gives them sort of enough money to not have to be distracted and be able to focus on the opportunity. I think the other thing is we're very focused on things that are generally very capital light. Or capital expense light. So they're not involving things like building hospitals and other expensive things which require a lot of capital. These are more services, things leveraging technology, so they tend to be lighter on the cost structure.
Now I want to just shift gears a bit. Muhammad Yunus, Nobel Prize winner, has been fairly vocal about criticizing social ventures that provide returns to investors. He kind of resents the investors making money off these deals. How do you respond to that kind of criticism?
Sure. So first off, Muhammad Yunus, I have a huge amount of respect for him. He's a huge pioneer, and he's one of the people that motivated me to get interested in microfinance and in broader impact investing. So I really applaud his leadership and innovation. I guess I think that there's different ways to invest, and our view of it is, when we go in to invest, our philosophy and mandate is the businesses we invest in must be serving primarily low-income populations. That's our specialty. But what we really believe is that a business needs to generate enough profits to attract the capital that it's going to need to be able to realize its scale potential. So if your business is not offering a return on capital to investors, maybe in the short term you'll be able to raise a little bit of more philanthropic capital. But ultimately, you're going to need to go to the capital markets in most cases, to get capital. And in that case, you're going to be competing with other investment opportunities that investors have. So we believe it's really important that you have a clear mission, meaning that you're really trying to serve low-income populations. You're trying to do it profitably, and you're generating enough profit that it's going to be attractive to raise that larger capital down the road that you're going to need. And I think you can see this in some of the well-run microfinance organizations in India. One example would be Ujjivan, who is now become one of the largest microfinance organizations in India, the largest urban microfinance. And they've continuously now been able to raise money based on their ability to run a high-quality operation that's delivering high-quality financial services to very large low-income urban poor in India. And they've been able to do that with a strong profit. And so they're able to generate enough and growing enough capital that they're ultimately going to be able to fund themselves and not require continued infusion of capital.
Now, that's exciting, and I think it does help answer the question that Mohammed Yunus raises. I tend to see the world through your lens, I confess. So there are days, I am sure, no matter how much you love what you're doing, when you feel challenged and discouraged. Who do you look to as a role model for inspiration when you, especially when you're having your tough days?
Well, that's a good question. I think it is true that working with early stage entrepreneurs has its challenges. I guess my perspective on this is, having been an entrepreneur myself, hopefully I think I have a little bit more empathy from being down the road and having the challenges of that. And so I'm not sure I have per se a role model. I mean, maybe it would be Bill Gates or someone like that who's persevered and then chosen to put his time and energy in addition to his money into things that are making a difference. But I think that what I'm encouraged by is the resoluteness of so many of these entrepreneurs, that they don't give up. Even though they're hitting into walls and into challenges and into things that are out of their control. And so I feel honored to be with those entrepreneurs who really have that chutzpah to really keep on going, and because they're really trying to make a difference.
Yeah, that is inspiring. Why do you do what you do? You could be doing anything if you're a talented guy. Why this?
I have in my career done a lot of work in the software space as an entrepreneur and as scaling up enterprises, and I've had a lot of fun doing that, and enjoyed that a lot, and learned a lot by doing that. And basically, about a decade ago now, I got the bug by seeing that there was an opportunity to do well. In the sense of seeing things actually succeed, and at the same time do good. And I believe that there is I get a lot of enjoyment out of working on hard problems. I don't mind having hills in front of me or challenges. I'm kind of a pioneer in that way, and so I get a lot of positive feedback in my life by being in a situation where I'm trying to make a difference. And so I think the team that I work with has a similar viewpoint, and so I'm not just doing this on my own. I'm doing this with a team of people. And I'm doing this because I really think that there's an opportunity to make a difference and hopefully to leave a bit of a mark on the world.
Well, I'm glad you are. Everyone who's watching wants to do more good. Give us one tip to help us do that.
One of the things I think I've learned over doing this now for about a decade is, when you're trying to do it through the mechanism that we are, which is trying to find entrepreneurs who can ultimately succeed in taking their vision for building a sustainable and scalable business. I think one of the things we've learned is, a lot of it really comes down to execution. And I think one of the mistakes that I've made along the way a number of times is I've fallen in love with an idea, and I've forgotten to take a harder look at, can the person who's trying to implement that idea, do they have the skill sets to do it? Do they have the willingness to stick with it? So I think that it's really important when you're evaluating projects you want to get involved with, is what's the goal, and do you think that not just is the idea good, but can it be done, or can the people that are leading it make it happen? Because it's that's ultimately what matters. There's lots of people with ideas, but the challenge is, can you put those ideas to work?
That's great. Now, Dave, before we wrap up, we just have 1 minute. Tell us how people can learn more and engage with you.
Certainly. So we're on Twitter. Unitus Seed Fund is our handle. Our website, usf.vc, is our website. And one of the things that we do is we actually are very much an open source type of philosophy with what we do. So if you go to our website, you'll see there's a lot of information we've shared about what we're learning, both on the different areas that we're investing in, whether it be healthcare or education or agriculture and technology and such. We're very open book about that. We also share very openly about the impact that we are measuring and are seeing in our portfolio as far as lives impacted, jobs created, healthcare improvements to low-income populations, etc. And we also have recently just released a report on how we've gone about thinking about that, thinking about how to measure and how to do that in really pragmatic but helpful ways. So that's the kind of information we're happy and pleased to share through our website, and you can track us on Facebook and all the other social media places as well.
Fantastic. Dave, thank you very much for being with us today.
Thank you, Devin. Good to talk.
Let's do some good.